Hello and welcome, everybody. It is Coach Action Jackson, and I'm here with another episode of Client Success Stories. I have Sid joining me today. Now, Sid absolutely did a fantastic job in the program. He lost 15 pounds, 8% body fat, 4 inches off of his waist, another 3 inches off of his hips, while also adding on a half inch onto his chest and gaining a single solitary pound of muscle, which is not easy to do when you're also cutting that much body fat and losing weight. So he now has a V taper shaped torso, and he's just got fantastic results. Sid, I'm so proud. I'm so excited, and I'm really, really stoked that you joined me here. So welcome. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, Coach. Yes, I'm Sid Jain. I am in here, Denver, Colorado. I basically got in touch with Coach Jackson through Tonal. So, when I got Tonal, I did a bunch of your programs and stuff, and I found out, there are some, you do private coaching. So, yeah, here I am.
Fantastic. So I appreciate all the support. Of course, doing all my workouts, that's fantastic. But despite doing a lot of the training programs and the workouts, you felt like you needed a little bit of extra. Like, what was going on? You're working out, but you're not seeing results. Kind of talk me through that.
Yeah, I mean, that was a real struggle. I was working out, pretty regularly. I would say, I was doing those muscle gain programs, fat loss programs. And, I was doing workouts like almost 4 to 5 days a week. And nothing happened. In fact, I did lose a few pounds, and then I started reading on internet about, well, if you want to gain muscle, then you need to start maybe eating more. Well, so I started eating more, and that's not a good combination. So I gained all that weight, and I didn't see any changes, any good changes, and that's when I was. I realized that what you don't know, and we'll never find out. So I realized I needed to get some help if I want to lose that weight. And it's not just when I got tonal. In fact, I was trying to lose weight since so the heaviest I was back I would say 5 7 years ago, and I was almost very close to 195, and I basically got it down to about 175 176, and that's when after that I tried for years. I mean, 4 5 6 years, and just nothing helped. And then I started gaining all that weight. So yeah, I think that's when I decided to contact you to figure out what to do.
Man, that's got to be so incredibly frustrating. You have a couple of different problems there. The first problem is obviously thinking that exercise alone is going to obviously solve all of your problems. And I think one of the things that people tend to learn pretty quick is that training without having a comparable nutrition plan isn't going to produce those results. Now, if you're 22 years old, you stop drinking beers and you stop eating fast food, it's like, yeah, you can get great results. But once you get a little bit older, you definitely need to have a plan for your nutrition if you want to see results. The second thing is making sure that your nutrition plan and your training plan are integrated together and they're working together to help you get those results. So if you're doing, let's say your goal is to lose weight, reduce your body fat, or maintain lean muscle mass, well, if you want to do that, then it's great to have more of a metabolic program that you're doing from a training perspective, and then combining that with a caloric deficit, but also making sure that you're getting your macros adjusted right so that you don't burn up or lose any muscle mass. And that's really difficult because a lot of people treat their training and their nutrition as two independent variables. And these things need to be integrated. They need to be connected. They need to be working together for you to get those next level results that you want. So you figure that out, you realize that you needed help, and you obviously reached out and we worked together. But one of the things I like to ask, and the reason I like to ask is because I think people who are out there who are listening, they're looking for their aha moment. So was there an aha moment for you where all of a sudden it kind of clicked and you said, I need to get help because of this because of X, Y, or Z? Or was it just a gradual thing and then just one day you just kind of were fed up? Like, what was that moment when you decided to finally reach out and get help? What was that like? Just talk me through that.
I think for me, I don't, like I said, like it was gradual for me. But there was a point when I started gaining back all that weight I lost because I started eating more. Because I read that you need to be, not you should not be in caloric deficit. And so that was my moment, because when I saw that I gained like a pound, 2 pounds already, and I'm not seeing any difference in my muscle or in my just overall body, and it's getting actually worse. And I'm feeling heavy. Like you could tell after 3 weeks of eating a little bit more and gaining, I was feeling a little bit worse than what I was before. So I think that was my deciding factor. Because I always wondered, tonal is great. I'm already paying for tonal. I'm already, eating healthy, because I was not eating fast food or anything. But again, I think what I learned in this program, that healthy is a whole different thing. If nutrition program is very different than what you think is healthy, and not everybody is the same. So, but for me, I mean, it was just, I realized very quickly that this is, whatever I'm doing is not working. I mean, I'm eating a lot of protein, but again, that protein, I didn't realize comes with a lot of fat, and then sometimes it comes with a lot of carbs, and then all of a sudden when it started to just add up, and all the workouts I'm doing, it's great, but my fat, I'm not losing fat. In fact, I'm just adding more to that. And that's when I was like, I gotta get some, help, because just from originally, like I had some lab tests done, and those numbers weren't great. And then my fear was that, when, like, I have high cholesterol, well, not anymore. So I used to, but that was my worry, that uh, it could, if I keep gaining this weight, then there could be that problem, that it could just lead to medical issues. So that was another deciding factor for me, that I gotta get some help to basically start losing this fat.
Got it. Okay, so the medical numbers, it sound like, were a big sort of push for you to want to seek help and make a change. And what you kind of talked about there was that conflicting information, mass amounts and conflicting information. So when you're
Mhm.
basing your decisions off of what you see on Instagram or Facebook ads, or reading on blogs or YouTube videos or whatever, a lot of times you can get conflicting information and you're not sure which direction to go. And I see this a lot, especially with men who want to lose body fat, but also they want to, of course, build muscle. They don't know if they should cut or bulk, or what they should do, or what their macro should be, and how to train. And they end up just sort of jumping around, going from one thing to the next and spinning their wheels, not making progress on either front. They're not building muscle, and they're not getting better there or getting stronger, but they're also not reducing their body fat either. So they just spin their wheels and just sort of progressively get worse. And I love what you said there about, I thought I ate healthy, but I didn't know what that was. And that's so true, because I got to be honest, I've worked with thousands of people. I've probably only worked with a handful of people who've ever said to me, Jackson, I just eat crap. Like I eat like crap. Most people that come into the program and join me all think that they eat healthy, and it is a little bit of, you don't know what you don't know. And I like to tell a story like this.
Yeah.
So I grew up on the south side of Chicago, so it's like terrible weather, windy, winters, freezing, ice, snow, cold. There's obviously, it's just not super nice in on the south side of Chicago. There's no way of saying it. It's like the richest, quote unquote, people in the neighborhood drove like a Cadillac. So if you had a Cadillac, you were like really wealthy, and it was like, whoa, I can't believe this person has a Cadillac. And then as I grew up and started to travel and experience more of the world and go places and stuff, go to New York and then obviously San Francisco, and now I live in Orange County, California. living in Orange County, California, any day of the week, anytime, I could literally walk out my door and you could see somebody driving by in a Ferrari or a Bentley or a Range Rover. They're all over the place. And it's just crazy. And I never knew that a place like where I live existed. And I got to credit my wife for this, because she's the one that lived here and was the one that was like, no, we're moving to Orange County. Trust me, it's really nice. You'll like it. And now that I live here, I didn't know this could exist. I didn't know a place as beautiful and as amazing and as incredible as this could exist when I was on the south side of Chicago. I couldn't even imagine. I thought, like, if I had like a Cadillac, I had made it. That was like the height of like wealth. And like, so now it's just so different because I didn't know it existed. So for you, it's like, I didn't know what healthy eating was because nobody had taught me.
Yeah.
Nobody told me. There's no class that you go to in school or anything. I wish there was, but there's not. So you need to seek out mentors or coaches that can help you and give you that education, so that you could then take ownership and agency over your health and fitness. And now you can kind of direct it on yourself. So it's like, yes, they'll give you the education and the guidance, but the education and the guidance, so then you can take care of yourself in the future once you graduate from that program. And hopefully that's kind of what we did with you. But let's go back to the numbers and the blood work and stuff. So your cholesterol was high and you said no longer high. That's fantastic. But when you got that blood work back, it sounds like that was the push to like, I need to make a change. Is that accurate?
Right. For the most part, that was the push. And just like I mentioned, right, it was what I was feeling when I saw the numbers, like the weight go up, and I just don't see any change in my body, and I'm feeling worse. That was it. That was just a deciding factor for me to, because again, like I thought that I've been eating healthy, but it's, I mean, simple things like, I used to think, eat olive oil, and well, you can't just eat olive oil all the time. So because it's 1 tablespoon. I mean, again, this counting macros and stuff, that's what again I learned. I never counted macros. I didn't even know what that meant. And so that's when I realized, well, yeah, it is healthy in a broad sense, but it's you can't just be putting olive oil in everything. So yeah.
Correct. It's got a lot of calories. So in moderation or
Yes.
in the right doses, it could be fantastic. But, they say the poison is in the dose, right? One
Yes.
drink of
Exactly.
alcohol, great. Okay, that makes you feel kind of
Yeah.
good and loosen up. But 12 drinks, 15 drinks, 20 drinks will kill you. So not good.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, that was another thing. It's just like I used to drink. I used to love um, old fashioned, but I had never counted calories. I didn't know. I was like, oh man, this is great. And when I after I joined the program and I went to a party, and before going, I was like, well, I gotta be careful, because I was in my phase 2 back then, and I was like, I gotta have it just one, so maybe just one old fashioned. So I just put in the calories and stuff in there, and it was like, oh my god, there is no way I could do that. So yeah, it's everything. You learn a lot for sure.
Yeah. And all we're trying to do is bring awareness to these things so that you can have, whether it's alcohol or if you want olive oil or if you want a cookie or whatever it is that you want, in moderation, so that you can have them and feel like you're not restricted, but also still hit your goals, which is the whole point. And we have one client who went through the program. His name's John Wickman. He did a success story interview. He had a fantastic transformation, lost 24 pounds. He had a glass of wine every day, but that's because he loves wine and wants that to be a big part of his lifestyle. But if you're like, just drink because of social pressure or because everyone else is doing it or whatever, it's like, is that worth the calories for you if you don't really love it that much and enjoy it that much? And it's like, maybe it is, maybe it's not. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. But it's doing it with intention and purpose, and not just because everybody else is doing it or just because it's what you're doing or you're at a work dinner or you're at a party, so I'm just going to drink because everyone else. Like, no, let's include
Yeah.
it, but on your terms, in the amounts that you want, when you want, and let's do it in a way that we can still get the results that you want from a health and fitness standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, once you start seeing results, it's not just the social pressure anymore. I mean, for me, it was like already started seeing fantastic results after phase one. And when I joined, I went to that party. There was no social pressure for me. I just didn't want to lose everything that I've done in just like one night, And now, I mean, with after being done with the program, I think it's just part of my lifestyle. Like I went to the another party the other day, and now my go-to drink is basically just Hendrix and soda water and lime, and that basically is about 100 calories. You can have a couple and you're good, because the whole time now I'm like so in tune that everything I eat or everything I want to eat, in back of my mind I'm just counting calories, everything, every time. And even when I do cheat meals, right? So I do once a week, and then I'm always thinking, okay, how do I get better at even that cheat meal, right? So I think as you start seeing results, you're, and you said that, like when I started that about this alcohol, that was one of my questions. And you mentioned, well, by end of this, you might not even want to drink, or you will see that, because you will see the results. And that's exactly what's happening. For me at least, is that everything I do now is just, it's now my lifestyle, that I just want to eat better, I want to do better, right? So uh, yeah, so it just, I can go on and on. I mean, I have so many stories, right?
Sid, I'm getting a little emotional here because I just love that so much. I love you're including it on your terms in the way that you want. So it's with intention and purpose. And I love what you said. It's a lifestyle, and that's what I always tell people is like you need to transition from being on a diet or a workout program to a lifestyle, because that's the only way you're going to keep the results that you get. Studies showed 95% of quote unquote diets fail. The 5% that work are the people that transition it to a lifestyle. And that's what we teach people, how to train, how to eat, and how to think for the rest of your life so you can get the results but also keep them. And the reason I'm getting emotional is just because I could hear the excitement in your voice.
Yeah.
And I love hearing clients talk about how, man, I went to this party and now the thing that you're seeing is it's like you have x-ray vision, right? There was always this game being
Yeah.
played around you, and you're like, I can't figure this out. I don't understand. Why can't I lose weight? Why can't I build muscle? What's happening? Why, and now you learn how to track macros, you learn how to read labels, you know how to leverage the psychological aspect of these things, you know how to train. And all of a sudden it's like your eyes have been opened up, and you could see this whole game being played around you. And it's like, oh, it's like being in the Matrix. All of a sudden it's like, I can see, I know what's going on here. And now you can execute, and you could do all the things that you know you need to do in order to get the results you want. And that's just such a cool thing, man. It's just awesome. I'm just so happy for you.
It's amazing. Like, and it's not just another thing I would say is, I think that I didn't know was Dexa scans. So, people talk a lot about, oh, muscle weighs more than weight. And then, so don't worry about the scale. Well, how are you going to know you're getting muscle or fat? I mean, the only way to see is basically look yourself. And like for me, when I started gaining that weight, I knew this is not muscle. This does not look like muscle. So when I found out that, there is some such thing like DEXA scan, it was actually eye opening, because for me to see, like, I started the program thinking that I'm at about 25, 27% body fat, but actually I was at almost about 35. And so for me that was a shocker. And when I got my report, and then, that was amazing to see. And then you can, like, regularly, I get it done every month. So to see, that I did gain a pound, I actually did lose weight, and I did lose, so the measurements, DEXA scan, I think all of those are very important before to me, for anybody to say that, oh, I'm just gaining muscle, because you don't know if you're gaining muscle unless you're measuring yourself, or maybe getting the DEXA done.
Absolutely. And that's another thing that a lot of people will do mistakenly and that can sabotage their progress is they focus so much on just the scale, whether it's trying to gain muscle or lose fat or whatever. And they don't look at all the other ways of tracking. Number one, looking at other ways of tracking gives you a full picture of really what's going on. It's kind of looking at real estate. If I just tell you the price of a house, that doesn't tell you much. If I say the house is $1 million, that could be a fantastic deal if you're talking about Newport Beach, where I live. But if you're talking about South Side of Chicago, where I grew up, that might be crazy expensive. So there's other factors that play into it other than weight. And people put far too much emphasis on weight. So we want to look at weight, body fat, body measurements, progress photos. We want to look at how clothes are fitting you. Obviously, we want to also have subjective measures of well-being and energy and all these other things. Strength score, of course. In that way, we not only get a complete picture, but we also have lots of ways of winning, because the more ways we have of winning and getting feedback on what we're doing, that way we could stay in the game. It keeps us motivated to continue because we're like, oh, well, this is working or that's working. But also it allows us a tight feedback loop so we can pivot and adjust when we need to. So if it isn't working, we go, oh, okay, well, let's adjust the calories, or let's change up the macros a bit, or let's maybe add an additional day of cardio, or maybe let's add in some HIIT, or maybe even sometimes reduce. But we need that feedback loop, and we need that data to then make better judgments about what to actually do other than just wait. And I'll kind of throw out the numbers here. So starting weight was 175. You got that down to 160. That's 15-pound loss, which is great. Your starting body fat was 35%. You got that down to 27%, 8% body fat loss, which is incredible. And then your waist went from 36.5 down to 32.5, 4 inches. Hips from 39 down to 36, 3 inches. And then your chest went from 39.5 up to 40. And you mentioned to me on our last call, you said, I finally have the V taper shape torso. How exciting is that?
Yeah, that is, and it's not just like I mentioned, Reno, it's not just from the front. I'm talking from the side. When that, I never even thought, like I have just seen in pictures, it's like, people who are fit, okay, yes, their back is good. Like I never, I never thought my back would be, it would grow that much, what it is right now. And it's not just the back. My tummy shrunk so much that, so it's really exciting. I mean, I can, I used to wear clothes, like I used to go buy clothes, and um, pants are still okay. You could find, but shirts, it was hard. Like, the shirts I would like, they would say this is like a slim fit, whatever. But then, so I would like the shirt, but the my size won't fit. So I would go a size up, and I was actually wearing as big as like large on a slim fit to fit me. And just 2 days ago on the weekend, I went shopping, and I actually bought a slim fit small, and I fit into that shirt, and I could not believe, because I have to, like, my entire closet is useless now. I basically have to go buy, replace all my shirts and pants and everything. So it is unbelievable, man. I mean, the changes, the true transformation. I mean, things I'm seeing is just every day. It's like, things I see. Um, you know, I just want to lose maybe a little bit more. So I was 160. Now this week, now I'm 159.5. So another half pound gone. So it's working, still working.
Yeah, one of the hidden expenses of joining the program, as a few clients have found out, is that you have to buy new clothes.
Major expense.
Well, Sid, I can't thank you enough. Again, I'm so proud of you, and I'm so appreciative for all the effort that you put in. These interviews, when I do them, they're just so exciting because I get so emotional. I get so excited because I just want people to succeed, and I want people to break through barriers, and I want people to realize that they can do it too. because any of us can do it, right? Like, I'm no smarter, better, anything than anyone else, and neither are you. It's all about just getting the education, figuring out what you don't know, having a plan, executing, and then pivoting and adjusting along the way. And if you have those things and you have that accountability and that support piece to get questions answered, to get the kick in the butt when you need it, the pat on the back, you can win too. So that being said, thank you again for doing this, for all your hard work, your effort, and of course, um, if you had any final words for somebody out there who's like, maybe they're on the fence about either joining, or they feel like, yeah, I know he can do it, but I can't. He doesn't know about my circumstances, or my situation is different. What would you say to that person out there?
Oh, I would tell everyone to just commit. I think the support is amazing. The community that you have on Facebook is amazing. They are very supportive. You are very supportive. You answer all the questions, and I see. I would do this over and over. Like I would not. I would say people just do it, because this is something that will truly. I mean, I did it basically on almost a vegan diet, and so if I can
That's
do it,
right.
and without eating, so you find out, like with your Facebook page, some of the ideas, and once you start researching, you start finding how you can get to that protein. I never thought I would eat 150 grams of protein in a day, and so to find all these different things, and it's just overall, it's just amazing community. You're amazing. A lot of data points, a lot of knowledge. So all you got to do is just commit, and you will see the results.
I almost forgot about that, Sid. You did all of this, and some people are like, "Oh, I'm vegetarian, I'm vegan, it can't work for me." Or a lot of people think, "Oh, I can't eat carbohydrates; they're the enemy." You ate plenty of carbs during the program. You never
Yes.
did a ketogenic diet or anything, and
Oh,
you were vegan. Still had food restrictions because of that. Still made
yep,
it work.
yep, yep. So people, when they say carbs are bad, that's another thing I learned, right? That what you mentioned, the carbs and fat has that inverse relationship. So I used to think, oh, when I first got my program, I saw 160 grams of carbs. I was like, what? Is this normal? I was like, well, maybe he knows what he's doing, I guess. So we'll see. And then when I started looking at the community, people are like, oh my god, I can't believe, how do I go without eating carbs? And I'm like, oh my god. So there are people who are doing something completely different, and I am doing completely different. So it's not like a cookie cutter program where you just give everybody the same, macros and just go do it. Actually customized to, the individual. So to me, I think that was great. And I would have never thought that I could lose weight while I'm eating carbs, and that much weight. So it was, so yeah, I mean, all of this, if you want to, like, to anybody out there, right, if they want to lose weight, just join the program and do the work. You will lose weight for sure.
Was it worth it?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. No doubt. I'd do it over and over. Like I said, man, I would make the same choice. It was the best choice for me.
Thank you so much. Well, Sid, again, thank you so much for your time today. I don't want to run too further along, but it's been such a privilege. It's been such an honor to be a small part of your journey. And remember, you were the one that did this change. I was the guide, but you put in the work, you put in the reps, you sweat the sweat, you ate the food, you weighed the food, you did everything yourself. So remember that. All that confidence, the compliments, everything that you get, you deserve, because you did it all yourself. Okay. Remember that.
Thank you.